We live in a data-driven world, right? So also for your restaurants with Menu Tiger, you have the ability to manage different restaurants in the same time. You don't want to stay with waste, right? So when you can see that what people really want, you can actually engineer your menu. The other thing that the digital menu helps is that it can help you to do upsells. McDonald's were able to grow their revenue with self-ordering kiosks. A digital menu is a total different experience. It's a different experience.
Digital menus are becoming the norm, but Menu Tiger isn't just any digital menu software. What inspired you to create it, and what gap did you see in the market?
When I created Menu Tiger, we were in the time of COVID-19. And of course, in that time, there was a lot of our customers from Jar Tiger asking for contactless solutions. And the first contactless menu that we had was a PDF, but that's not really interactive, right? So we thought how we go to the next level. And we saw contactless menus or digital menus becoming, a thing. So we saw the opportunity to experiment with it. And that's when we created Menu Tiger. And of course, we did it by really trying to understand the whole restaurant industry and how we could really solve a real problem for our customers.
What was the biggest challenge in developing Menu Tiger, and how did you overcome it?
So the first challenges that we had was try to integrate it with different point of sale systems so people could actually synchronize their menu with their point of sale that they were using. But not only that, it was also listening to customer feedback, because once we launched Menu Tiger, it was a beta, and then we needed to understand what were the real things that restaurants were struggling with and how we could make that experience better. So these were the things that we were looking into, and we're still doing that, right? When we create a software, we try to make the most advanced software, something that really can help from a 5-star restaurant to a food truck, right? How can you make a solution that can feed and help all the different type of restaurant businesses?
We know running a restaurant is hectic. How does Menu Tiger help take the pressure off owners and staff?
When you're in a restaurant, it is definitely hectic. And that's where Menu Tiger comes in. A digital menu helps you not to only organize things for the customer side, but also for the restaurant itself. It helps you to understand digital data so you can see what is being ordered, when, so there's less chance for human error. It also integrates with your point of sale so you can quickly see if you're running out of certain dishes. You can also update your menu. You can straight away print everything so you have a better, smoother operations, and the waiters can focus much more on the customers than trying to memorize what people have ordered and all kind of things. So it really makes the whole experience for the waiter also better, that they really can focus much more on the people in the restaurant that might need help, like people with a handicap or elderly people, right? It really helps restaurants to really organize their operations much better.
What are some common problems with traditional or other digital menus that Menu Tiger solves effortlessly?
When you look at a paper menu, there's a lot of text on it, and the question is, how does that dish even looks like? So many times I go to a restaurant and then I need to read and try to guess and ask the waiter again what I'm gonna really get on my plate, right? With a digital menu, you can actually visualize your food. You can have different pictures out of different angles so you really can understand what you're really gonna get. That's the first thing. So it makes people more want to explore to order something different than the traditional dishes that they normally would always order, right? So that's also good for the restaurant because they maybe can sell dishes at a higher ticket price, right? Things that normally they wouldn't sell that often. Because when you order, you still order with your eyes, right? It's an emotional decision because you're hungry, right? The other thing that the digital menu helps is that it can help you to do upsells, right? So that's also one of the biggest advantages. It can recommend you to buy certain things together with the food that you're ordering. You can also put dishes that are, that's also one of the frustrating things. You go to a restaurant and say, can I have this dish? Sir, it's not available. Oh, and I really was looking forward to eat this, right? And then with the digital menu, you just say they're sold out. So you actually don't going to order something that is sold out. You really know it's not there anymore. So it takes away all this little frustration that we have when we order. And that's, I think, is the real value of a digital menu, that it really focuses on how to make a smoother operation for the customer.
I heard Menu Tiger offers features like multi-restaurant management and POS integration. How do these features actually make a difference in a day-to-day operations?
Of course, when ordering, it is having collective data together, right? Because you have different restaurants, you want to be able to manage that somehow. So with Menu Tiger, you have the ability to manage different restaurants in the same time. You can quicker see which restaurants are doing good, which are doing less good. You have better data to understand your restaurants. I mean, we live in a data-driven world, right? So also for your restaurants, you really can understand where to focus more or focus less. And so these kind of things really help to make better operations if you have different restaurants or, different setups or things that you order, that people can order in your restaurants. Yeah.
Data is everything these days. How can restaurant owners use Menu Tiger's analytics to make smarter business decisions?
So data is everything. Today, every big corporation runs on data, trying to understand, what are the best-selling items. And this is, of course, the same with the restaurant. You don't want to stay with waste, right? So when you can see that what people really want, you can actually engineer your menu so people can order things that they really want. And you can actually take away food from the menu that people are not ordering anyway. So this really helps, again, to make your restaurant menu much more profitable because you really understand what people are looking for.
Can you share a story of a restaurant or a cafe that saw a noticeable difference after adopting Menu Tiger?
I will share the story of McDonald's. McDonald's is a huge corporation, and they, of course, they always want to grow. That's the nature of any corporation. And they put in all their McDonald's self-ordering kiosks. Because of that, they were able to grow their revenue with 30%. That's significant, right? And why is that? That's a question we need to ask ourselves. McDonald's was able to grow their revenue because when people were ordering from a person, there is this kind of pressure, psychological pressure that, somebody's judging what you're going to order. So if you want to order 20 hamburgers for yourself, of course, which not many people will do, but still, in that case, then yeah, you might be seen as a fat ass, right? But when you are behind the kiosk, nobody's judging you. You can order freely what you want. You can also visualize what you want, because how many times in McDonald's has a new menu, and you need to look upstairs there, what kind of thing. Now you have a real good view on what you're going to get when you order food. McDonald's was also able to create more upsells, right? Because you want that little Sunday eyes on top or whatever. So this could also help them to create more revenue. And the other thing that, of course, was great for McDonald's, payments also take time. Long waiting lines on McDonald's makes people, say, oh, I need to wait 20 people in line. I'm going to go somewhere else, right? But with the kiosk, operations become more smoother because people just need to click, pay, right? So they don't need to look for cash. They pay with their credit card or a mobile payment, right? And this made also that the operations became smoother. The kitchen knows straight away what they need to do. So the whole self-ordering kiosk for McDonald's was a success. And this is also something new for your restaurant with Menu Tiger. You don't need to have a kiosk. You just let people scan on their table, have the menu on their phone, and then they can order the same thing. So if McDonald's can grow 30%, so can you with your restaurant.
So what's the most surprising way you've seen a business use Menu Tiger?
One of the most interesting cases that we had was a person that wanted to use Menu Tiger for Airbnb. So Airbnb, you would say, what has a digital menu has to do with an Airbnb? But when you go to a hotel or an Airbnb, you have a minibar, right? And that minibar can only supply a certain amount of goods, but you might need a toothbrush, or you want to maybe drink something else than whatever the minibar is serving, or maybe you want a little snack. And so with a digital menu, you could actually supply food and actually create quite a bit of upsell for your Airbnb, because it's easy for the guest. They just scan a QR code. They say, I want this, I want this, I want this. And then it gets delivered to their door instantly when they are there. So it actually helps Airbnbs to upsell to their customer base. Yeah. So that I found a really interesting use case.
That's very interesting, man. If Menu Tiger were a restaurant dish, what kind of dish would it be and why?
I would think of a paella. A paella is a very rich dish. It can contain meat, but it can also contain fish. There's a lot of color in it. It's a dish that is, when you eat a paella, you feel enriched by flavors. Yeah, that's a little bit what Menu Tiger does. It enriches customers in their restaurant experience.
Some restaurant owners might think digital menus are just digital versions of paper menus. What's your take on that?
No, a digital menu is a total different experience. That doesn't mean that a paper menu can still exist and you can have a paper menu with a QR code on it. They don't actually are against each other, right? But of course, it's the same thing as looking through a text Word file
Okay.
or going to the internet where you have blogs with pictures, videos, images, right? It's a different experience, right? So we live in a time where people are getting used to that richness that the internet offers, right? So that richness can also be offered with a digital menu. And I think that's one of the points that more and more restaurants start to see. When I first time saw a digital menu, I was against it. I was something like I didn't saw the value straight away. Only by using it, I came to the conclusion that it really made that I could order much quicker, that I get my food much quicker, that I could walk out of the restaurant without waiting for the bill. So I saved a lot of time. It helped me to better understand which dishes they were offering. I saw suddenly, by using it, I saw the value. But at first I was also conservative and I was like, come on, just give me your menu. And, I come for a restaurant to see my waiter and do things. So people are still traditionally, that is a restaurant experience, but that's, definitely in the bigger cities, it's changing, right? How we order food is changing. And that's also because now more and more people order food, for example, with Uber Eats or other kind of food delivery things. So this whole food delivery logic is now with the digital menu also being brought to the restaurant.
What do you say to people who think switching to digital menus is too complicated or expensive?
I wouldn't say it's complicated or expensive, because if you need to reprint your menu every time, it also costs money. If you need more waiters, it also costs money. If you have only certain dishes that people order because they cannot visualize and understand all the dishes that your restaurant is offering, that also makes you lose money. So like the case of McDonald's, they grow their revenue with 30% because of a digital menu. So can you, right? So I think saying it's expensive, I think you're letting money lay on the table if you don't use a digital menu these days.
Okay. The restaurant industry is always evolving. What trends do you see shaping the future of digital dining, and how is Menu Tiger staying ahead?
I think digital dining will still keep evolving, of course, as technology evolves. But I think digital menus are still in an early stage. They had a little peak during COVID, of course. Then people were a little bit against it because, COVID was over. But I still see them growing steady in different markets in the world. So I still believe that digital menus will become, the norm in most restaurants. Maybe some smaller restaurants in villages or whatever, okay, I understand. There it doesn't really make sense to have maybe digital menus straight away. But if you're in a city where you need to compete between different restaurants, then you need to catch up with software. Yeah.
What new features or updates are you most excited about bringing to Menu Tiger in the coming months?
We're creating new themes so that people can customize and tailor their menus much more to their restaurant identity. So that's also something important with Menu Tiger. We try, of course, to create digital menus that can be tailored to the restaurant identity, because many people, when they make a restaurant, they try to create a certain atmosphere or identity or a certain branding. So that's something that we also allow you to do with a digital menu so that it fits your restaurant branding.
If you could give one piece of advice to restaurant owners looking to modernize their business, what would it be?
I would say go to have a look on the website of Menu Tiger, try a free trial. You can also follow us on social media. It's free anyway to start. You don't need to pay for it. So why not giving it a shot and having a look how it can help your restaurant to grow.